Jamus's heavy weapons team, which has been upgraded with an autocannon, making the satisfying boom sound. Inquisitor having to retreat from this offensive. These Hormagaunts may not escape. And they do not. Banewolf playing the hurt. Despite the Venom Brute's presence, as the Howie Manticore strike threatens all of the universe. Master Retreats, double Death Dread marching around for Texaneous now, as again, only the Manticore for Red Team and Venom Brute are able to deter it. They were able to claim the Inquisitor. James is against the Inquisitor.
Got 300 points left.
We do have another Gen Bash. Unlike in 1s, in 2s, Gen Bashes tend to be quite effective all game long, as the shared resources mean low power counts. Melt-a-bomb. The Stormtroopers causing quite a bit of hurt with the Manticore strike, and the Ravener Alpha with his upgraded Corrosive Devourer. Plasma damage being somewhat effective against vehicles. Sluggas, however, driving it off and saving the double Death Dread. Perhaps pursuing a little bit too far though, as these Melta Stormtroopers and Guardsmen are hanging around. But these Shooters should have it covered pretty well. Although I sense a Manticore strike coming soon. There it is. That's from Blue Team, however. There's the Red Team Manticore, hoping to get the Banewolf. Will he? He is going to get it. It is not retreating at all. It is down. Banewolf down. Tough to keep track of all your units in these 2v2 games and all the area of effects going off everywhere. Inquisitor has lost her nameplate, making her hard to see. But Crippling Volley has not succeeded in driving off the Ludus or the Shooters. Judgment down for the Blue Inquisitor on the Venom Brood. They are having to pull back a bit. She's just waiting for that cooldown to pop back up. This is a bug. These aren't actually here. They went through the tunnel. Now a Gen harassing Manticore strike. Does succeed. Inquisitor trying to pull in to get the judgments off. While Blue was driven off over here by a force of Guardsmen, Heavy Weapons team, and Stormtroopers. These are retreating before the judgment can even go off, as a large swell of Guardsmen with plasmas and the Ogrins swing in. Red team finally taking down on blue team's victory points. Meanwhile, the Shooters are engaging this force, but the autocannon and stormtroopers are too much for the Inquisitor. Death Dread had been planning to charge in, backs off a little bit as a Hellfury strike goes down for the Blue Inquisitor. Not quite catching the stormtroopers, unfortunately. It did not quite pan out the way Choko would have wanted. Double Death Dread are ready to push in on these unsuspecting guardsmen, while the electric armor drives off these stormtroopers, the Sluggas. Inquisitor hangs back to try to hold off with this force of knobs. Ludas, Shootas, Death Dreads. This is a massive Orc force, the kind of thing that people like to see and don't often get to in one. Sorry, that is head-to-head. Twos tend to provide this kind of action. This Manticore is massively out of place and gets taken down by the Death Dreads. Meanwhile, Blue had been pushed off by the red Tyrannid force here for Acra. Another Gen Bash, although sort of just a spit in the face Gen Bash at this point, as this game is looking rather decided, although there goes the frenzy, making the knobs vulnerable to all the damage that's coming down upon them at the moment. Damage switching over to the Mech Boy and the Death Dreads. Mech Boy doesn't look like he's going to make it out. He's retreating through the Death Dreads, providing just enough cover. The target fire has switched over to the Death Dreads. We're now using, I believe that is the Mech Boy Global Cult of Speed, along with their own innate ability. Comes Choko to drive off this. The Hell Fury strike. Oh, he was anticipating they would keep pushing forward, and they did not quite. However, he did get the Lictor there. Red taking back there, or trying to, but getting judged and encountered by the Inquisitor. Ogryn versus Ogryn battle here, along with the support of these Tyranid units. These Ogryns are going to be in trouble, even though they used Bonehead first. And here comes the Manicure strike, driving off the Tyranids. Ravener Alpha continues to try to cap. This chase might not be wise, as the heavy weapons team, although not really aiming the right way here, but they're running right into the arc. Inquisitor did go down here, overwhelming red IG forces. Oh, we're gonna see a Tyrannoform right on the base. This Spire is gonna be pretty dangerous. Oh, wow. Down to, oh, still 3 models on the Ogryns, although the Bonehead commander was killed. But not a lot of hit points. Dread's still needing to repair a vehicle repair bunker that got dropped down here in the middle. Meanwhile, the massive Texaneous Orc force is pushing in, crippling volley, temporarily slowing them and letting them take quite a bit of damage from the autocannon, or would if the Mech Boy hadn't teleported in to force melee. Slugger Boys, after using Swamp are retreating. Choko and Jamus still not in Tier 3, I guess comfortable with the IG Tier 2 units, although I guess Jamus is stuck. Choko is floating a bit, probably planning to switch. Hellfairy strike on the building. That flamer damage, even though it is now ability flamer, is still effective at units in buildings, and 2 squads go down for Jamus. I believe that was the heavy weapons team and the guardsman team. Meanwhile, Frenzy is activated on these knobs as the Ogryns charge in with their Bonehead. Foolishly still chasing that Stormtrooper, but again, in these 2s, when you have these massive armies, it is hard to keep track of everything. I mean, our Acra is going for a 3rd Lictor now. That's going to be 7 plus this hero, 8 patrol groups to manage. Knobs driven off finally, as the Red Inquisitor recaps this point, but the Death Dreads, back to full life, are pushing quite aggressively on this side with the Guardsmen. Driving off one Lictor as another Lictor springs in it. And the rest of the Tyranid force closing as well. This might be catastrophic for blue team, but a Rox activates, and that, along with a Manticore strike, that is a red Manticore strike, however, is missing. And as the Guardsman forces push the Orc back, hoping to take this point back, as they have finally stabilized the victory point drain. Red team is quite desperate now, and it's 60 to 356 for blue. Lictor's charging in, stealthed, hoping to get these Ogryns out of position. But the Death Dread is doing quite a bit of damage, knocked back with a special attack. barely escapes his life as the Tyranid forces pour in. Crippling volley down on the Ogrins, forcing retreat. The Death Dread also retreating. Red's taking this point, and Blue's recapturing their natural points as the Stormtroopers barely escaped their lives. And one Guardsman squad did go down. A Manticore barrage just happened somewhere. I believe it was right here on this point. Hard to keep track of all the action in twos. Probably should have chosen the head-to-head for the first cast, but just wanting to start off with a bang. Blue team recapturing the contested victory point as 3 lictors line up to sweep up these guardsmen. One should be target firing this squad, but for some reason they are all hoping to get a squad wipe. And indeed they do. Wiping one fully upgraded, it looks like level 3, possibly level 4 guardsman squad. That is a big get as Choko is going to tier 3. These Death Dreads roll in. Sweeping up the nice sync kill. There's the Cult of Speed. Sorry, before that was not the Cult of Speed, that was just their natural speed moves. One Death Dread goes down, and I believe the other is not going to escape as well. Trying to cover the Inquisitor's retreat, but not succeeding. Meanwhile, the Orc force is dropping mines, Knobs pushing the base, probably should pull back and get these guardsmen. But the point is captured. 2 capture against 0 for Blue, so this score is ticking down quite a bit for Red. They are quite desperate. I guess that's the point of these Knobs, just to keep these Red forces locked up and not capping. And yeah, that is the end of the match. Blue team with quite a commanding victory, although Red made a lot of good plays. Unfortunately, just not able to contend with all of the area of effect, especially the Mech Boy electric armor, which at some point got switched to battery pack. But in that early game, that electric armor is quite potent against squishy races, and when you have 2 squishies like IG and Tyranid matched up, those kinds of area of effects are quite effective, as we will see in the score screen momentarily. And here it is. Obviously Texaneous with the most unit kills. Close that. As he quite clearly garnered the most kills with his electric armor. You can see here commander levels quite disparate. Everyone around 6 or 7 except for Jamus, whose Inquisitor was down only once, but just not in the battle enough. Always off trying to help a flank and not quite getting into combat. But here we have the units killed count, which, as they're all squishy races, is sort of a wash, but 106 is really high. Hey, thank you for joining me for the first Decepticast. I was hoping to start doing more of these if people like them. If not, any suggestions to improve would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, and have a good day gaming.